Land management agreement cannot be utilised to get around the requirement of the Development Act 1993. 27th of March 2000, elected members approved the subdivision of Crozier Hill Estate. However, a land management agreement was utilised and our development plan was ignored. This video will show how our development plan was deliberately ignored so the developer could sell floodplain destined to be public reserve. He was assisted by council staff, but we are not going to go into that with this video. Reasons will come later.
When you look at the Tonkin report, their criteria didn't have any reference to the development plan.
You can go through all the documentation from Andrews, a surveyor, and Tonkins, the hydrologists, and you'll find no mention or no link to the new development plan and the specific principles 7 and 9. As FYFE have explained, Tonkins were used to doing assessments simply with the old council-wide principles. Criteria didn't have any reference to the development plan. Tonkins were deliberately kept in the dark about the development plan specific principles for this zone. Now let's look at what elected members knew about the new development plan and what staff had not explained to them. Just before elected members had to make the decision, councillor asked for the new development plan, told them that they'd have to have intensive training before they could get it. It was the rule book and they needed intensive training before they could get it. Denied the development plan. Elected members were denied the development plan and evidence shows it was simply slotted in the back of all the documents. It was never brought forward or explained by staff, which was their job to do, to explain things to elected members. These minute meetings of the March the 27th. Johnson had an inkling there was something to do with the reserve. So she asked a question. The mayor had no idea, Councillor Johnson. Nothing had been explained to them and the development plan had not been given to them. The documentation or the debates contained anything at all about the principles 7 and 9 were completely ignored by staff. Elected members were told that the reserve could be reassessed at a later time if the necessity arose. That meant the developer would choose where and how big the reserve would be. Not Principle 9, not what staff told Governor Neil a few months earlier. Staff told Governor Neil that Principle 9 in particular facilitates the allocation of reserve. Like they told the elected members that the developer would facilitate the allocation of reserve if he felt like it. The principles have simply been ignored the whole way through this process. The intention was always to use a land management agreement. So let's look what we got. Elected members had absolutely no idea what the principles were and how they operated. Staff had not told them. Staff had refused to give the principles to elected members at the meeting before they had to make the decision. Because Tonkins was set to work doing a land management agreement before the decision, then this was premeditated by staff and the developer. Is council negligence? This is what elected members have to bring up. Read it. Do your own research and you'll find out where the truth is. This is the area that should have all been reserved. Note all the developments that have gone on inside the reserved area, the prohibited floodplain. This is why current staff are refusing to answer questions. That is why staff refer to several concept sketches with small floodplains. Staff have approved developments on what should have been public reserve floodplain. Elected members need to go through each and every one of those developments. They have breached the Development Act. Time to represent ratepayers. Finally, an important point. The land management agreement only allowed safety inside your house, not on the land. The intention of the principles were that no floodplain was to be developed or have people living on or near it. Not only did the land management agreement replace the principles, it did not go anywhere near the intention of the principles. If a land management agreement deliberately overrules the development plan and the intention of the development plan is not met, then there has been council negligence and elected members know what to do. Each individual elected member has a legal responsibility. They have put themselves in that position.